Hey YouTube, hey X, how you guys doing? I'm back, it's Chuck. Well, it's been a long time since I've made an FSD video because I just had stopped making them on 11.4.9. Well, this morning, it finally happened. FSD Beta 12.3 came to my Model Y. This is a 2020 Model Y. The Tesla 8S drivers there've been 4 or 5 of them every single day driving in this neighborhood, just gathering data. I'm guessing either validating or collecting training data for FSD 12. And it finally came here to Florida and on my car. So I'm going to go out and do a quick first impressions video. This is not going to be an unprotected left over and over and over video. I will try to do that either later today or early tomorrow morning. I've got a lot of stuff going on with the bees today also, so I'll probably try to get this out as quickly as I can for you guys. This will just be a first impressions video. There's been a lot of content out already, but I do want to just talk quickly about my settings. In this version, as most of you know, if you've been watching other content, automatic speed set offset is a new function here. I have that turned on, and if you hit the I right next to it, it describes it a little bit. It talks about this sets the speed automatically based on the driving conditions. But one important thing I want you to recognize is that it is also depending on your chill, average, or assertive settings. So we really can't critique the auto speed set without adequate testing of the FSD beta driving profile that you're using. So I'm going to be an average for this one, but I think if we find the auto speed not working well, we need to come in here and do full test in a chill mode, full test in an average mode, and another test in an assertive mode. So if you're out there driving in version 12 or watching it, just recognize auto speed is using this somehow, and we'll have to determine its input. I'm going to do one unprotected left turn, the typical U-turn right after that, and then we're going to go down narrow roads. We're going to watch some speed control, and then maybe head to Memorial Park. I'm not going to go on the highway on this one. It's my understanding that we're still on version 11 for the stack here, highway stack. But that's it. Single pull, and we will see how we do today. FSD Beta version 12 to start. Going to do a right turn here, and then the unprotected left. You see the car does still creep, and the creep limit is usually still available. Nice little boost there. That's what everybody has said is the aggressiveness on this. I've already done a little bit of driving this morning before dark, but this unprotected left, of course, there's the creep limit, there's the full stop, and let's see what kind of traffic. Got a little bit of traffic here, which is great, and it needs to wait. It looks like it's going to have to wait a little bit, which is great. Creep limit is still there. It feels like it could go out a little bit further according to the creep limit, but I'm very comfortable where it is. And it has a good visibility angle for about 4 seconds. And right after this red truck, we're wide open. And it looks like it should roll this straight through the median. And it didn't do the offset to the right. And then straight into the left lane. Even going over those bumps just a little bit. So it went straight to the left lane. I'm going to go ahead and edit the trip, take apart my south, put in the U-turn. Should recalculate pretty easily, and it did. Nice U-turn there. And let's see what it does. So this next intersection, it has never done a U-turn. It's got some traffic to look for, so I'm a little bit nervous if it tries a U-turn. It's going to be, okay, this is a roller. There's no oncoming traffic. So let's see what it does for the first time here. An oncoming car coming there. It's going slowly, a little slower than I like, I'm going to let it go. Okay, and a nice boost there. It did it. All right, Tesla AI, that is 2 for 2. Now, I'm going to critique that a little bit. There was a 50-mile-an-hour car oncoming, and it did not have a sense of urgency doing that U-turn. I was getting a little bit nervous that I was kind of in the middle of a road, and I needed to get my U-turn done with the approaching car. So if I have a critique on that U-turn, it's that once you commit to doing it, you kind of need to get up and go, because what you're doing is you're changing your perspective of the oncoming cars. With the B-pillar, your forward camera is no longer available, and that traffic that was going about 55 miles an hour right there, this car just to the left of me, was rapidly approaching and saw me slowly doing a U-turn. But either way, let's just acknowledge the function of U-turns in version 12 just appeared based on training data. They have stated that they did not program U-turns into the software. It just appeared through the training data set. So that is an amazing, amazing thing to acknowledge that it just evolved. Now, I don't know how they go about tweaking the speed it did that to say, you know, once you commit to the turn, you've got to complete it. I'm not sure exactly what to tell them there, but that's how I felt in doing it, is that I wanted to almost press the accelerator as an intervention to make it do it faster. But in either way, it found the opportunity and committed to it. All right, so what's coming up next is my narrow road scenario that has those speed bumps on it. You know, you can see the clock here at 7:45 in the morning. It's a little early to get much traffic. There's a flashing yellow that it needs to do a forward-facing, either a protected or unprotected turn, depending on how it hits the arrow. And then it needs to cross these railroad tracks. And I don't know if version 12 is going to have much railroad track knowledge yet. So here we got the intersection. It's flashing yellow, and there is no oncoming cars, so it should roll this. But let's see if it goes over these railroad tracks too fast. 20, 19, 18. Hey, that was really good. I didn't feel like it accelerated across the railroad tracks like it previously had. It was just kind of going over them based on the road conditions. So that is another win. I'm going to call that one a good one. All right, here's a good one. The car turning left here, acting like it was going to turn. There's my creep limit. It is obstructed to the left with bushes, and it's acting so. And now it's clear and it's going. All right, good. And the first, ooh, got a cat here. Slowed for the cat. Didn't. That was, I think it was avoiding the cat there. And here's 14 for the first speed bump. It used to completely ignore these. So we just had an animal interaction and a speed bump interaction in a few seconds, and it did both of them perfectly on version 12. So far, so good. No traffic to deal with here, so this is pretty much just auto speed control and speed conditions. It's doing full 0 mile an hour stops, and then the creep, and then a commit. A nice commit there. So the speed is 30 here, and you can see the auto max is not going anywhere near 30. Here's the next speed bump. Is it going to see it? Oh, it missed one. It didn't, I mean, that was an okay speed, but it didn't adjust its speed at all. But, you know, it wasn't going to full 30, so it actually wasn't that painful. All right, this is the double divided intersection in this neighborhood scenario. And a little pause there for something I don't know what it was. And then we have our next speed bump coming up. I really need to do a dedicated narrow roads test with some traffic on this to see how it handles the oncoming traffic with no curb here. Okay, next is this unprotected left turn into the suicide lane. And I want you to notice here, the map has it using the suicide lane and then joining. I don't think that is correct, but let's see what happens here. Okay, it's wide open to the left, so traffic is not the... We do have some oncoming cars now from the left and right. It needs to wait now. Okay, good. It waited. I think the car coming from the right created the wait for the left because the gap to the left was open enough. All right, we have one car here, and it's clear to the left now, and it should be able to go, but it's waiting for traffic from the right. And so it's basically without a median waiting for both directions, and it's got an opportunity to go here. And let's see what it does. It did not honor the suicide lane. It went straight in there. That was really, really good. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the trip, add a stop, and I am going to go back to, nope, that's not what I wanted. And I want to go back to Memorial Park. Busting me for looking at the screens what it's doing. Memorial Park. I can put in biscottis. All right, cyclist here on the right. Shouldn't interfere with it at all. No deviation there. Let's see what it's done. Okay, it's got another U-turn programmed here. all the way to the left. Oh, an oncoming car is, oh gosh, and a car behind me, and I had to press the accelerator a little bit because that car was rapidly accelerating behind me. Oh wow. I can't believe what it just did there. It crossed the lane to do the U-turn. There was an opposing car that was waiting to turn. It decelerated quite a bit with a rapidly approaching car from the rear. So I did tap the accelerator a little bit. I probably could have let that car behind me do some defensive driving and go around me. I'll have to go back and double check that the blinker was on correctly. It was aggressive, but it did it. Functionally, it did it. So I'm just kind of stunned here on some of the choices it's making. And now that I see the way it's going here, this should be good. This is a good route. Maybe I haven't even taken you on this one before. I have to say, so I've been driving with the camera rolling now for about 5 minutes. It's done my unprotected left. It's already done 2 U-turns. It crossed into the suicide lane in a way that it never did before. The blinkers are better. And this automatic speed in average mode, which is what I'm using, really seems to be working well. Now, I know in version 12.2 there was a lot of criticism on some roads that this auto speed was not being very good. It was creating unnecessary braking. I haven't seen that yet. So I've seen it kind of honor below and above the speed so far in average mode. Let's see what we got here. This should just be controlled traffic city streets. I don't think we're going to see anything. I did verify in the dark before dawn, the double green light bug is gone. Completely gone. I tested it 3 times. It goes straight through the double green lights. That it used to have this uncomfortable slowdown and then reacceleration for no reason. As I would expect, the end-to-end network would get rid of that because it didn't make any sense. It was obvious to me something in the code with the planner or the map data was confusing it, but it just vaporized, so it's gone. All right, so we're doing a right turn here on St. John's Avenue, which is a road we haven't ever taken before on camera, to go to an intersection there, and nothing unusual here. The speed was fine, the blinker was fine. See, here it is using 34 on a 30 that just felt natural to accelerate to. I'm glad that it's using speeds a little bit over the speed limit where it feels natural. I don't have a lead car giving me that either. This is going to be great. We got a green arrow. Oh, we're going straight here. Okay, it needs to stop. Oh, it felt like it was going. Now, I am on the railroad tracks here, and there's the green light, and we're going. So it approached that intersection very aggressively. It did stop on the railroad tracks with a red light, which is a no-no, and I'm going to use the snapshot button there. And just so you guys know, I still have the snapshot button. I don't know the criteria to have that button or not. I've got the disengagement notes that everyone has and the snapshot. So those snapshots I'm going to grab on situations just like that. So now we are coming up on a familiar intersection for those of you that watch these for a while, but from a different angle. We're entering a traffic circle going into the S-curve. And while I'm doing this, I hope I can go ahead and find Memorial Park. And I need to edit that. All right, so we're joining this traffic circle. And Bradford has done a lot of traffic circles in Carmel, Indiana, and wow, without a hitch. Second traffic circle, joining to the right, and we should be joining Herschel. I really want to go do the S-curve. I want to do the S-curve here, so I'm going to go ahead and disengage only for my own testing. So I'm forced to reroute there, guys, because I wanted the S-curve, and I wanted the S-curve because if you remember on this S-curve, I'm getting a lot of pay attention to the roads because I'm doing a lot of map editing. It would use the blinkers on this S-curve. And now it's going 24 and a 30. Feels a little bit slow. and that's okay. This is where the average setting may be giving it a little bit of a cautious nature. Now it is turning here, and here's even a warning sign saying it's a 15 mile an hour recommended for this sharp turn. I don't think it's going to use 15. Look at this. Is it using no blinker? Blinker, no blinker, no blinker. Okay, I think that's the first time ever it's not used a blinker on that S-curve. So that was another behavior that has just vaporized with the end-to-end training. And I'm really glad to see that. So now we're going through Avondale, which has got a lot of pedestrian traffic. It's a little time of day. It looks like we do have some joggers up here on the right that it needs to honor. They're kind of off to the right of the white line, so it doesn't need to deviate too much, but let's see if it slows down at all. 27. It's hugging the left line. So it definitely moved over a little bit for them, and but it didn't slow down at all. That was a good behavior. I don't have any issues with that. Okay, this time of day, not much traffic here. Cars can kind of, backing out. See if it honors that. It didn't honor that. You see him backing out with the white lights? 11, I think, would have probably reacted to that. I'm just guessing. I probably should have honored that because I didn't know how good his visibility was. It looked like that was probably a newer car, probably had a backup camera on, but an older car without a backup camera backing out at that angle is completely blind. So, good interaction though. All right, this is now the typical Memorial drive. I think what I'm gonna do, because we've got a little bit of idle time here, it's doing 28 and a 30. I'm gonna see if I can go to assertive here, if we can notice any behavior differences. So far, no changes. And verifying we are in assertive with auto speed limit set. So assertive doesn't make it just go faster. It looks like it's more about a follow distance and maybe lane changes. This car pulled over to the right. He's just waiting. Didn't even flinch. I would probably expect it to be going 33 here rather than 28. So it's interesting that it chose a slower speed than the speed limit on what is a relatively well-marked neighborhood street. Maybe it's the cars parked here, actually. It's honoring. Maybe it's being defensive against open doors that could happen at any moment. Flashing yellow light. Got a couple of these on this route. And it's right at 30. Didn't even tap the brake. Didn't even pause. Still are getting that flashing of red on the visualization. I think that has to do with the camera angle as it goes directly underneath it. It just looks red. All right, let's see. These cars, we're going around those joggers here. So you see how that oncoming car had to encroach on the yellow line. But we're just driving along at the speed limit. And FSD version 12 magically doing everything. There's the blinker. Great timing on the blinker. Going to get in this left lane. So now I'm going to show you this on the map. In heavier traffic, this could be complicated because it needs to do a left turn and it needs to immediately get in the right lane. So it'll be interesting to see if it knows to just do this turn and go to the right lane, or if it goes into the closest lane and then changes lanes. Let's see what it does. All right, it went to the left lane. Immediately right blinker to the right lane. Perfectly. Granted, in traffic, that could have been more complicated, but I can't critique that. Flashing yellow lights. Ambulance, don't see any sort of notifications about an ambulance or visualization different on an ambulance there, so I'm guessing that was the same. All right, we do have a lead car here now, and I keep going back and forth because the map data actually has a lot to do with lane selection here. It used to be in the middle lane, and this middle lane goes straight, so it did a nice job staying in the middle lane there. Yeah, look at that. All right, so this is pretty straightforward, but it does show how the auto speed is being used, and I am still here in assertive. I'm going to go ahead and go to chill just for a second so we can verify It didn't see it act any different going through those water puddles or a few little kind of road bumps, manhole covers, things like that. I really can't wait till we can verify if it can avoid a pothole. I think some people have said they thought they saw it on version 12. I'm not sure I've seen it yet on video. I'm just driving it now. These pedestrian crosswalks, of course, are stop only if a pedestrian is in the crosswalk. So we're not really getting to test that, but it's driving through them at 28 miles an hour. The park is here on the right. I am going to need to do a quick flip around and then do a return route. But there is some good stuff on the return route also that I would like to show you guys. Let's see what it chooses to do here. It's got a blinker. It can't turn there, and it recognizes it. Let's see what it does. Is it going to turn right in this next street and try to find a parking spot? This is something new. It is. It's looking for parking, I think. Okay, we got a truck here. It's going around that pedestrian. It's remapped the route to get back to the closest point for the park. Let's just see what it does. Is it going to go there? It's hunting now. See, well, no, actually, that was mapped. I've never done this before, so it's actually, I don't think it can go where it's trying to go now. No, oh gosh, I've never been here before. I feel like I'm in somebody's backyard, but it's alley hunting. But it, I guess, knew these were usable roads. It's going 12 and a 25, which is perfectly fine because these are some really big bumps. I kind of want to let it keep doing what it's doing. Because I don't know that I would, I mean, I guess I would park anywhere I saw parking if I was going to the park, and it's creeping really slow. This visualization on its slow creep is new too, the way it's not jumping around so much. Is it going to stop? No, it's just, it's like it's looking for parking, which makes sense, but I'm nowhere near the dot now. I am going to just let it ride because this is fun. It's got a huge oak tree here it needs to look around. If you can see that obstruction, it's okay. Now I got a car coming. I can lean forward and see it, but that B-pillar is pretty blind. And it's clear. What's it going to do? Is it going to go back down here and try to park again? No. It's going to go to the right. Guys, when they add, okay, navigation complete, it should not stop here though, but it's getting in the turn lane. It's remapped again. It's already told me navigation was complete. What's it gonna do? It keeps remapping. That's fascinating. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there because now I know I'm just confusing it. So I've gone ahead and put in the return route, and that's good. It's in the wrong turn lane to go straight. Let's see if it does it anyway. What's it gonna do? Okay, now, it honored the turn lane it was in. And now it's gonna have to do a 3-point turn to get out of this. I don't think this is U-turn worthy. It's mapped a U-turn down here at an end of a street. So I'm proud that it didn't jump over. It could have, but it would have had to honor the traffic that had the right of way. Okay, I don't think the radius will work, but let's see. Oh my God. Oh my God. If it pulls this off, is it gonna, oh my, it was so close. It was so close. I'm just gonna sit here for a second. There's some dogs over here. Oh my gosh, look, I didn't touch anything. It was waiting for the dogs. Now look, I got another pedestrian who's going to walk in front of me. It's honoring him. It is finding its way. Guys, I didn't touch the accelerator there. I actually thought it was stuck. I think it was waiting on the dogs. It did a U-turn all by... Guys, that is robotaxi re-navigation right there. It's not a robotaxi yet. I know that. But that function that it just did is what a robotaxi will have to do when it gets itself in a bind. And it will get itself in a bind. That's just the way it works. But that level of not giving up, now, I would say that it needs to add reverse, because reverse is just another tool you have to get yourself out of a bind. And the fact that we don't have a reverse three-point turn maneuver yet is probably something it needs to learn how to do. Maybe it needs a lot of training data. I don't know. The only other reason I say that is because an unsuccessful U-turn needs reverse as an emergency bailout option, unless you're willing to jump a curb or something like that. The car can't just stop in the middle of a road because it miscalculated the radius of turn. So, okay, we're going left here. We got the blinker on. It's giving right away to these guys out front. It should take it right now and go. Perfect. It did. And that car was waiting. Holy smokes. That was next level rerouting. It was patient. It found some pedestrians. It got back to the intersection. And now we're on our way. I didn't do anything. You know, out of all these unprotected left turns and these other sort of things, those are things I've tested over and over and over again. And I understand how complex and hard they are because of decision making that it has to have with high speed cross traffic. But getting itself at a dead end, and fortunately having the radius of turn to solve it, it was using its full radius of turn too. It went all the way to the right and came around. I'm going to have to recalibrate my enthusiasm for some of these functions here, because if this is the new normal, I don't want to come across this, enthusiastic constantly, because I got to find something new to work on, I guess. Well, anyway, let's enjoy it, because this is fabulous on day one so far. And I'll tell you guys, the ADAS drivers are not up here. They're not up here loading loads of data for that. Maybe that was a trading set from California, or just the gobs of video data that they're collecting from all of our cars. Went through a yellow at the last second perfectly, didn't flinch at all. Going 32 and a 30 now. See if it crosses this yellow line a little bit. Didn't need to, but it gave those parked cars on that curve just enough room. All right, and this is good. This is exactly our Memorial Park return. We've done hundreds of times that very frequently this time of day we have pedestrian, joggers, and those sort of interactions. It's interesting that on the last direction, basically a very similar road, it was using, and I'm in chill mode now, it was using 28 and a 30, and now it's going 31 to 32, and now I've got a lead car it's right up against, who is also honoring the speed limit, thank goodness. This car's turning right. Nice slow down, very smooth. These accelerations and decelerations are really, really nice. And I expected that based on everyone else's feedback that has been testing so far out in California and a few other locations. Flashing yellow, didn't flinch, perfect. It'd be interesting to have a intersection of flashing yellow to time just perfectly with another car that's got the flashing red, who perhaps is taking their turn. Okay, so we're going to be taking a right at the stop sign. This fork here has been problematic coming the other direction due to some speed limit issues, but the auto speed right now is working perfectly. So at this stop sign, it should be taking a right. A nice full NHTSA stop to 0. Creeping, got a creep limit posted. It's got to go around a truck here immediately. No issues there. And then we're going to take a left at this light. In the past, the routing has gone several different spots. It usually doesn't come here. Usually it's one block over. Green light, that turned yellow, and it stopped. Okay, I don't know why it was just creeping just then. So, version 11 might have gone for that yellow. I'm fine with that stop. It completely needed to stop. I mean, it was yellow. We were going at a slow speed. Stopping was completely appropriate. Waited on the green. You got to look at these trajectory paths, guys. Those are different. Those of you that look at this detail, those trajectory paths are different. And the chevrons for the deceleration are being shown just slightly different. I don't know if it's being smoothed differently, but it's not as jittery. That could be completely UI, the user interface changing, but it also might just be how the neural nets are manifesting. Back-to-back flashing yellow lights. We're going 29 and a 30 with auto speed, and it's not even flinching. See how they're still showing red on the display? I don't understand that. I've never understood that. That's got to be some sort of perception issue with the cameras and the light colors or something. All right, this is good. So this is kind of another auto speed test here. It's what speed it's choosing on just a nice wide road. It's choosing right at 29, 30. Yeah, I mean, maybe on these, it's using decisions for cars could be pulling out, doors could be opening. It's definitely not choosing to go 35 here, but it's not slowing up and down like I know was reported on earlier versions of 12, that it couldn't decide where to go. On my drive so far, it seems that it's just sticking with a number. It's not a bad number. Got a dog over here to the left with a walker that was waiting. It measured their trajectory just fine. School's not in session. This is a school zone here that needs to be flashing and needs to slow down to 15. It's staying at 29 just fine. All right, so now we're going through this traffic circle, going the opposite direction. This is where I disengaged to force the route a few minutes ago. It's got a yield. It does not need to stop, and it's wide open, so it owns the traffic circle, and it shows 14 miles an hour, which feels perfectly fine there. Now, the next thing is this curve. The mapping data used to confuse it, and it used to try to take a fake turn right here. It's not doing it. It's slowing down for that car. Guys, that was perfect. Perfect. Wow. I gotta stop using wow. I can't believe how smooth that was in what used to be so problematic. The map data just wasn't very good. It was overlaid with some road changes, and it was version 11 that used to just have to try to find its way, but 12 is just kind of rolling with it. Wow. Okay, now, because it chose that intersection, it chose a light here. In old versions, it used to choose one block to the right here, and it forced an unprotected left turn with no traffic signal. So I don't know if the planner's improved, if it chose this route to try to get to that light, but no matter what, this is the right choice to get to this light. Obviously, I'll force the unprotected lefts in a dedicated video to help document the decision-making for the unprotected lefts. But coming to this intersection is absolutely the right way to do this. And now we're just waiting a turn. I don't know what else I can throw at this thing on this drive. We're basically just going to be driving back to the start point. We got a couple forward-facing unprotected lefts to do. An intersection that used to have a double green light bug, and if we hit that just right, I'll be able to show you that. I know we're approaching 40 minutes here, but I know a lot of you were kind of starving for some of this. I was starving to make it, believe me. This is really acting next level. And I know some of you might feel like they're overfitting for my turn, and maybe they are. Interesting, we got a green arrow and he's not watching. The car knew it was green and it was starting to encroach. It even went to a yellow, we waited so long. All right, let's see if we get a little boost here. Another one. Okay, a little bit late on that boost, but it finally did the acceleration there. That's fine. And here, see, we're already at 46 on what's a posted 45. No direct lead car, some traffic off to the right. Perfectly, this is a comfortable speed. The light is red up ahead. Some of these scenarios, how do I say this? As a mature driver, when I see a red light in the distance, I usually take my foot off the accelerator and go into a little bit more of a coast. FSD has never done that. I think that's primarily because it can't see traffic signals as far ahead as I do, or it's choosing not to display them anyway. That's programming logic. So that'll be interesting to watch over time to see if that manifests itself any differently, if it kind of goes into a coast phase with a red light up ahead. All right, this next green intersection, or intersection with these two green lights, is a double green light intersection that in the past, as soon as I went underneath this first light, it slowed down several miles an hour and then re-accelerated. And it's gone. It didn't do anything. Matter of fact, it accelerated 1 mile an hour from 43 to 44. Double green light bug, gone. Just went away with end to end. So that makes sense to me, because I honestly think that was a planning map data with red lights, speed limit considerations, or something was in there that just had that pause. That just kept coming over and over and over again. All right, guys. Well, I've got just a couple more lights here and a forward-facing unprotected left, and we're going to wrap this up. And I'm looking at my camera, approaching 40 minutes, so I'm going to start summarizing what I'm feeling here. It didn't screw up at all. Excuse me. It found its way out of a navigation error when I let it go to try to find parking for the re-navigation at Memorial Park. It was in a left turn lane, and it took that left turn lane, remapped, and found its way out. The speeds for me on auto speed, playing with both chill, average, and assertive, feel fine. Here I am doing 49 and a 45. That's perfectly fine. Many cars go much faster than that on this road, and maybe if they were speeding by me, it would speed up. Hey, Tesla AI, all those engineers that have been working so hard, all the ADAS drivers that have been out here probably away from their hometown, collecting data, driving these unprotected lefts, going over these speed bumps, thank you. I can tell that a lot of data collection went into this. Now here, I'm going to watch it a little closely. This is a forward-facing unprotected left, and it's got some gaps. It's making the right choice there. Look at that. It waited, forward-facing, perfectly executed, weighted the right amount. And guys, that's a wrap. FSD 12.3 kicked ass today, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave comments below. Share this with others that are curious how it works. This is a game-changing build. Have a great day, everybody.